Let's go, baby! Hey, what is up? Welcome to Tom Clark's main event. What's going on? What's up, kids? Welcome back to the program. It's your boy, Live and Live in Color, and man, is it bright. Happy Friday. How's about that entrance? If that doesn't get you pumped up, nothing will. I'm hyped. I don't get hyped. I stays hyped. Believe that. See the intensity? You can't buy this amount of intensity. No amount of alcohol in the world will give this intensity. Troy will tell you he's tried it. It's been a great week. So much to talk about. It's a great weekend coming up for pro wrestling. The numbers are here. People are showing up to say hello. We're going to get to you in a second. Before we do, share this link, baby. Get it out there into the ether. Let the world know that your boy is back. I got the core of the sun happening, but it's all good. I've never been wider. Look at me. No Soul, Don Simmons. That's me. It's a great reference. Go look it up. Hope you guys are having the best week of your lives because, brother, mine's pretty darn close. I got it. Troy knows why. It's been a good week for yours truly. Hope you guys are doing great. It's good times out there to be had by all. This is a massive weekend if you're a pro wrestling fan. If you're a pro wrestling fan, brother, are you in the right place at the right time? Because, man, there's big stuff coming up this weekend. All kinds of shows. There's like 27 shows every day this weekend. There's shows right now. I mean, there's right now as we speak, there's shows. But instead of watching that, you're watching me. You made a good choice. You can record that stuff. You can watch it later. I'm only live once a week, man. Make this stuff happen. Before we say hello to the two gentlemen I have queued up today, you've been waiting for this for a good long time. This time it's for real. You knew this weekend was coming. You knew it was going to happen eventually. I've been promising you this guy for a better part of 2 months. I'm told he's here this time. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Cody Rhodes. Woo! He's still not here. Is he still not here? That joke will never get old. And I say it every week. It's not gotten old yet. You were looking forward to it. Don't lie to me. You were all expecting it. I delivered. Don't say I don't deliver to my audience, baby. You ask, you tee it up, I hit it. All right? That's all. Got him in a good mood. I've been drinking a lot of coffee. This is like my 4th cup. Look at that cup. Isn't it stylish? Oh, my God. It's like people only do things to get paid, and that's just really sad. You get that reference? Pop culture abounds on the main event today. Let's quit wasting time. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Untitled Wrestling podcast, we'll get there. Ladies and gentlemen, Troy Grant and Ben Jackson. That's Miss Jackson if you're nasty. What's up, guys? How are you doing today, man?
Good, man. Big caffeine energy from you. I dig it.
Oh, my God. I'm
that
amped
intro
up.
was something else.
Is that something or what? I need a nap now. Ben, how are you, dude? I can't hear Ben. Oh, no, we've lost Ben.
No.
We've lost Ben. I didn't do it to him.
Oh, I turned my mic off. That's why. There we go. Apologies if I'm a little bit croaky at the moment.
No worries.
I had a little nap when I got in from work. So obviously we've got 3. I've got like Ring of Honor tonight and then 2 nights of Mania. That's like staying up till 5 in the morning. So
absolutely.
I had to reset the old body clock. But
yeah,
we'll get there. A lot of coffee. That's always the trick in it. So
it's really all you need, to be honest. I mean, coffee, a woman occasionally. That's it. That's really all you need in this life. It's the truth.
2 of your 5 a day.
That's right. Kids, please say hello to our guest. If you don't know about the Untitled Wrestling podcast, Troy's going to tell you all about it right now. Troy, before we kick this thing off at the beginning and at the end, tell the good people out there where they can find the show.
Everywhere. It's all over the place. You can listen to it on most popular streaming services, Spotify, Anchor, Google Pods, Apple Pods, Breaker, loads of other ones. And then we're all across social media. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Untitled Wrestling Podcast. And we're on Twitter, Twitch, and Discord at Untitled Rest Pod. So yeah, give us a like, give us a share, and all that good stuff. And yeah, come and join in the conversation. It's not just wrestling; it's films, TV, food, drink, games, comics, all that good stuff.
when Troy says we're all over the place, that not only describes our distribution platforms, but also our method of recording as well.
Ah, there you go.
Truth. Truth.
If you really want to get the essence of everything, make sure you catch the NXT 2.0 podcast. It's a particular highlight. If you like fever dreams, then you'll really get along with that.
I listen to your show every week, and I can't say I've listened to every episode, but I'm trying to remember the last one. I think the last one I listened to. I'm trying to catch up on your Dynamite episodes. I think that's the last one I listened to. But yeah, dude. By the way, kids, it's a really good show. And kids, by the way, Ben and Troy and Ben, the kids, everyone, please say hello to the guys.
Hi,
please make them feel
So,
welcome. E was, yes, sir, absolutely. E was first at the table. E, how are you doing? If you guys think I'm gonna go through all these comments, you've lost your mind. It's impossible. Ray All Day's here. Good to see you. Jamel from Vegas is here. Jumping Jeff Sharma. Shannon, what's going on? Eric Stimple, what's going on, dude? Jesse Bishop, what's going on? It has been a while, my friend. Hope you're well. Sheree Baker, hope you're doing good. Reggie, Belinda, CRP, what's going on, dude? Happy Friday to you as well. What's up, Gary? HVW owner promoter is here, folks. June 18th show is rapidly approaching. Jim Myers, Will Moore. Oh, my God in heaven. Did you guys like the music? What'd you think about that sort of Triple H homage?
Loved it. I was banging my head. That was
pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
You can always tell. Like I was at a show one time and we were previewing songs before the show that night. And the minute they'd put a song on, there's like 10 of us around a speaker and we all start doing this. And there's a girl walks by and she goes, God, every one of you's doing the same thing. And I'm like, it's almost like in your DNA. Like you can't help it. You know what I mean? So
synchronous headbanging.
Absolutely. Oh my God, David in Australia, who I usually love. Look at that take. David.
Oh,
come on, David.
David, come on. Come on, play the game.
Play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it, David.
I'm going to chuck in as many Triple H references as I can.
Absolutely. Why not? Guten Tag to you, Sandy. I got to put my boy up on the screen. Don't anybody take offense to that because everybody get offended. I call him my boy, nobody else. Oh, Brian's in Houston. Brian, how hard is it getting out of Texas right now? I bet there's traffic. How close is Houston to Texas? You guys aren't even here. What am I asking you for? Hey, Brian, how close is Houston to...
I think it's still a couple of hours.
Houston to Austin. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of hours. Like, is it Dallas, isn't it? It's Mania at, and then Houston. I think it's a couple of hours.
Yeah.
It's a big state. I didn't realize how big it was when I went there a couple of years ago. And I was like, yeah, cool. There's a Raw in Dallas. We'll go up there. And they were like, yeah, take you a while to get up there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you forget that Texas is like several times the size of like the entire UK.
The whole
UK.
UK.
Wow. Dude, that is insane. I may be heading the way of Texas in June for the new job. So we'll see. Troy, you know about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll see how it goes, man. I've never been there myself. So all I need to do is buy a hat and buy a gun. I'll fit right in. If you're from Texas watching this, don't take offense. These are just, I'd sent Phil's in Texas this weekend, kids. So everybody wish Phil safe travels. But he's in Tejas for the festivities. And I sent him a meme of the night John Cena put on JBL's hat and did this and then threw the hat to the crowd and stuff. And I said, brother, while you're there, buy a gun and buy a hat and you'll fit right in and have a great time. So there you go. All right, kids, we've got so much to talk about. And, you know, we're going to be here for about 3 days. So everybody, I hope you've had lunch or breakfast or dinner, wherever you are in the world, because it's going to be a long show. I mean, I'm looking at 3:45 in the morning for me, which means it's like tomorrow for them. So we'll see what happens here. We're going to kick it off with NJPW's Lone Star Shootout. And let's run down the card, and then we'll get everybody's thoughts on this. Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Dickinson. Dickinson back finally from injury, which is good to see him back up and running. And Ishii, my God in heaven, freaking amazing, this guy. I love Ishii to death. Mike Bailey versus Jay White, also known as Switchblade. Minoru Suzuki versus Killer Cross. Look out. Rocky Romero versus Ren Narita. 8-man tag, Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks. Mascara Dorada versus Yuya Uemura. Finn Juice, David Finlay, and Juice Robinson. Daniel Garcia and Kevin Knight. Singles match, Jonah versus Blake Christian. 6-man tag, Alex Coughlin, Fred Rosser, and the DKC versus Team Filthy, JR Kratos, Royce Isaacs, and Tom Lawler. And then tag team match, Bullet Club, Chris Bay and Hikuleo versus the Stray Dog Army of Barrett Brown and Bateman. Gentlemen, that's a big card. Ben, what do you think about this card, man? What do you think is going to jump off the page on this show? What do you think is going to make the headlines when this thing's over?
Ooh, I mean, the one that jumped out to me there when you read them off was Chris Dickinson versus Ishii. which I mean that's not going to be a tickle fest, is it? It's going to be hard. It's great, like you say. Dickinson's just come back from injury, and you're putting him in a match with someone so hard that the Butcher tore his bicep when he clotheslined him.
Yeah,
Ooh.
he did.
This is the night after he's just come from fighting Suzuki at Bloodsport as well. Which, if you haven't seen Bloodsport from yesterday, I implore you to go and watch it.
I guess he's just gone out to the shop and bought like a jumbo pack of ice and just stuck it in his freezer because he's probably going to want it.
Ibuprofen and ice. It's just a strict diet of that for the next few days, certainly to get through that match.
I'll have to watch Bloodsport. I was telling you guys before we went live, I've got to go check it out because I've watched the past few. So, yeah, man, it's I'm looking forward to it. Troy, something that jumps off the page to me on this is the return of Killer Kross to the indie scene. He looks so much different with hair because I'm not used to it right now.
Yeah.
But he still looks to be in good shape, and he better be because Suzuki is, pack a lunch, brother, because you're going to be there. What do you think about that, man? Kross back in action. I assume this is going to be, no pun intended, a killer match.
I mean, good luck to him. Don't get used to that hair you've grown because Suzuki's going to slap it straight off your head. It's going to be a good match. It's really cool to see Killer Kross back. I've seen a few bits and pieces since he has come back, and he looks awesome. I am still getting used to him with hair. It's very, very odd. That's just going to be stiff as hell, isn't it? Like, just, yeah, don't watch if you're kind of like, what's the word?
Of a nervous disposition.
Of a nervous disposition. That's it. Yeah. Something else that jumps out on there, to be fair to me, and this is partly after watching Bloodsport from yesterday. I'd never seen Speedball Mike Bailey in action. And Mike Bailey versus Jay White that's one that really sticks out to me. Really, really does.
I love Jay to death, man. I said, this was the case, I believe, for the better part of a year. He's the best heel in the business before MJF really got big. I'm telling you, nobody in the industry could touch me, even Seth. I mean, he was killing it. And now, through no fault of his own, he's not the biggest heel in the business, but nothing that he did. But he could at any moment take that spot. I love this. I just love that New Japan continues to get their tentacles into the States and to do their thing here. We know the AEW has a working relationship with them, whether it's official or unofficial. We know the Impact has worked with them before, and I love it, man. I just, there's so much of this card that I want to get into and I want to check out. Jonah versus Blake Christian. Jonah, I'm gonna tell you something about Jonah. I'll hand it to him. When he was released by WWE, he immediately took to Twitter and didn't badmouth anybody, but he immediately started putting himself over. And talking about, I'm coming to get ready and blah, blah, blah. And it was like every day. And eventually I was thinking in my head, no disrespect to Jonah, but I mean, let's go. You know what I mean? And it was nothing against him, but man, when he started going, oh my God. And I was like, all right, I'll shut up. I'll be quiet. Cause wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
It's another example of how WWE will let you do this much, but really you can do that much. Like, I hung out with a friend of mine 2 nights ago, and he goes, man, he said, I had almost forgotten how good Danielson is. He said, and I'm like, this to this, it's a big change. Ben, what about that? The idea of, and not to diss WWE, they're $1 billion company, I get it, but like they want that much, but you're capable of, that's got to be crazy for these talents, man.
Yeah, like you hit the nail on the head when you said it just then. Like you see, the Bryan Danielson we're seeing in AEW now. I mean, we were talking like last year, he had like a 3-month like personal match of the year like session where every match was just 5 stars, and you forget that he is absolutely phenomenal. And even now in AEW we're seeing Buddy Murphy, Buddy Matthews doing the exact same thing. Like he's having matches now that we never saw. I mean, going from like Blake and Murphy to this. The House of Black, it's just night and day. I understand why it happens in WWE because they have to have everything has to be homogenized and sort of appeal to everybody, and they're the Budweiser of professional wrestling where everything's got to be as inoffensive as possible, and you've got to smooth all them flavors down and make it nice and palatable. But
says a
yeah.
man who's an expert beer brewer.
I mean, that's just my go-to analogy. You know, it's always going to be where I go to. Apologies for anyone who does. I mean, there's nothing wrong with if you like Budweiser. There's nothing wrong with that. But you know,
I get it though. It's vanilla, right? It's for sure. It's the idea of vanilla's good, but I want strawberry today. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing. Yeah, everyone, please say hello to Tina. Tina Miller, co-hostess with the mostess of Peaches and Powerbomb. Tina done covered up, Ben. Look what you did, Tina.
Yeah.
Look what you did to Ben's face.
I'm still here.
We wish Tina good health. They've
Absolutely.
her physicians have gotten to the bottom of what's going on with her. Everyone, please go follow Tina on the Facebook and send her a kind word. I'm sure she would very much appreciate it.
Do it.
Do it, or Troy will fly over here and heads are going to roll. Believe that. So,
Believe that. I say that. I've got a can of beer called Head of the Table. Believe that.
Oh, see, there you go. We ties everything in. That's what we does here. Let's get to a show that the mainstream's really, really talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor, the first ever AEW owned, Tony Khan owned Ring of Honor Super Card event, I guess you could say. Suzuki's all over the place here, kids. Rhett Titus versus Minoru Suzuki, singles match for the ROH World Television Championship. Ninja Mac versus to be announced with Tully Blanchard, excuse me. That's interesting. We'll see who that is. Mercedes Martinez versus Willow Nightingale, to determine the interim ROH Women's World Champion. Josh the Goods Woods, get it straight, versus Wheeler Yuta for the ROH Pure Championship. Jay Lethal versus Lee Moriarty. Swerve Strickland versus Alex Zane. Dem boys from Sandy Folk, Delaware. Jay and Mark of the Briscoes versus FTR. Tag match for the ROH World Tag Team Championships. And Jonathan Gresham versus Bandito with Chava Guerrero Jr. in his corner. Winner takes all match to determine the undisputed Ring of Honor World Champion. Troy, let's start with you. Man, this is going to be a hoss of a show. What are you looking at on this show? Or are you just looking at the whole card? What do you think?
Yes. That's my answer.
Moving on. All right, Ben, let's go to you.
Honestly, for me, this, I think, is the card of the weekend. This is absolutely stacked from top to bottom. There's the obvious intrigue around it being Tony Khan's first kind of thing under the Ring of Honor banner. Even if Tony Khan wasn't attached to this, it's still a Ring of Honor show. It's still a Super Card of Honor show. It's still their first big one back since everything, the pandemic and everything with, you know, the furlough and this, that, and the other. Like, so there's intrigue already. So there's a lot of eyes on this. If I was going to pick something that stood out, Lethal versus Moriarty should be superb. Obviously, Gresham and Bandito, undisputed Ring of Honor Championship. And I've always got a place in my heart for the Briscoes. I love the Briscoes, one of my favorite tag teams, and their match against FTR has been heavily touted, rumored, teased for many, many weeks and months. And so there's a hell of a lot of intrigue around that. It's just a stat card, top to bottom.
Absolutely. Ben, what's your favorite on here? What are you looking forward to the most? Or like Troy, are you just looking to the whole card?
I mean, it's all good. I mean, and what's so amazing is how this show has come together, because it feels like this time last week there were about 3 matches announced, and it's all. I mean, last night, like Tony Khan, the absolute madman, like nighttime UK time, just dropping in Suzuki versus Rhett Titus. I mean, if he really hated Rhett Titus that much, he could have just not booked him. So that's. I mean, it's what every time you see Suzuki, it's like a treat. You don't know how many of these he's got left coming over to the US. You don't know how many of these tours he's going to do. So that's an absolute attraction every time it happens, isn't it? Obviously, the tag matches are potential to be an all-timer. I mean, that's 2 of the best in the business, and it's been, like you said, it's been built and been teased for so long. And also, I think Woods versus Yuta. I think Yuta's shown a lot on Dynamite these last few weeks. He's a great talent. He's finally getting the chance to sort of have a bit more of an edge to his character. And I'm really excited to see what he does on a big stage like this as well.
And honestly, I don't think Yuta wins here, but I think he wins eventually when he joins the club there with Regal and Mox, the Blackpool Combat Club.
Blackpool Combat Club. Yeah.
Oh,
Just say, Tom, I'm going to extend an open invitation to you. If you ever come to the UK, me, Jay, and Troy will take you up to Blackpool and we'll see the sights and we'll have a lovely time.
awesome.
Yeah.
Never say
Blackpool's
never,
lovely.
baby. I'm going to start traveling soon, so never say never. I've always wanted. I'm a big Beatles guy, massive. So I've always wanted to come, and for no other reason than to tour the landmark sites. But no, dude, I've always wanted to come for sure.
Yeah, man, invitation's there.
Awesome.
You make your way down to Birmingham. Can show you around there. You can see the Black Sabbath Memorial.
I'm down for that too. Believe me, I'm down for that too. What about this to be announced with Tully Blanchard? Colin loves to surprise people, man. Any guesses who this might be?
Cody. I mean, if there's a vacant spot on any card this weekend, it's Cody, isn't it?
Cody.
He's just
Yeah.
pulling like double, triple, quadruple duty.
I've heard Cesaro thrown around. I've heard Joe thrown around.
Oh,
Ooh.
Samoa Joe. That's a shout.
You know, imagine Samoa Joe just throwing Ninja Mac into orbit.
I'm fine with that. I'm all right with that.
I wonder if it would be someone that makes sense with Tully, or if they'd even care about that. They just throw the guy in there with him.
I mean,
That's
who would you
interesting.
associate with Tully to put in there at this point? Who's free or associated with Ring of Honor stroke AEW that is also associated with Tully? I can't think of anyone off the top of my head.
I can't. No, I don't know if it'll be an AEW contracted, a current that we know of contracted talent, but it could be somebody coming in. I don't know. Joe
Cesaro's
can
a
talk.
good call.
Cesaro is a good call. Cesaro can talk. Tully can really talk. So it's like, would he need Tully? Not necessarily, but I don't think one would hurt the other at all. I think it'd be smart.
I did hear something I think it was yesterday when I saw this, and someone just chucked out Tessa Blanchard.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, but Tony doesn't really like to book into gender stuff, does he?
No.
So
I mean, listen, this is something Phil and I have talked about to death, and I think Troy, you and I have talked about it too.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, there's a reason why Tessa Blanchard does not have a high-profile job with a high-profile pro wrestling company. Now, you can look at me and say, "Oh, it's all nonsense," blah, blah, blah. Sure, all right, cool. But there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a reason. There's men and women who have checkered past that are still getting work. Why is she not now? Well, Tom, she doesn't want to be. Shut up. Yeah, she never had an offer. No one ever. Shut up. I mean, dude, guys, there's a reason why she's not working for anybody on TV right now, and I don't know what it is, but it feels like there's a good reason for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
agreed.
So
we put that to bed fairly quickly.
Yeah, we'll move on because I don't know what else to say about it. I'm with you. Lethal and Moriarty jumps out at me. Briscoes versus FTR is interesting because FTR has made the face turn now, and they had all this heat with them boys, but all of a sudden, I mean, Jay and Mark don't come in as heel. That wouldn't make any sense at all.
No.
So, I mean, I can't imagine FTR starting this match off with a handshake, but I could imagine it ending with a handshake.
Yeah.
So, we'll see how it goes. Gresham versus Bandito. Ben, who's your pick to walk away with the ROH World Championship?
If you put a gun to my head now and said you got to put your money somewhere, I'd put it on Gresham. I think he is going forward. He is Mr. Ring of Honor, isn't he? You know, there's talk about he's going to be coming into AEW and he's going to be working like Ring of Honor and AEW at the same time. I think Tony's all in on him. I think he's the guy he sees as the future of the company.
What do you think, Troy?
I agree. Jonathan Gresham all day, every day. Ring of Honor champion, best pure wrestler in the world. Also current Progress world champion over here in the UK. Like, just put every belt on him. Put all of the belts on him. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Can we just like we talked about this on our podcast, but can we just break that down for a second? So Jonathan Gresham is not only the Ring of Honor champion, a company owned by Tony Khan, he is also the Progress champion, a company that is affiliated with WWE.
Nice. Well,
that's
said.
how good he is. He is the actual Forbidden Door.
The actual Forbidden Door.
I love that shirt. I saw the shirt Progress. I freaking love that. That's
Progress. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. So good. So good.
How about E's suggestion for the mystery opponent?
Oh, please, just for the lols.
Feed me.
Only
Dude, out of
only
the
if
blue.
only if Ninja Max squashes him in like 5 seconds.
Oh, that'd be great. Out of the blue, Ryback had blocked me on Twitter. I don't even know what I don't even know what I said. And then all of a sudden, I don't know however long it was later when I looked again for the heck of it, he had unblocked me. I'm like, okay, what?
What?
I don't even know what I said about the guy.
I think he goes through a phase of doing that because I saw someone on a random wrestling group I'm part of the other day, and it said, "Oh, Ryback's just randomly blocked me." I'm like,
yeah,
does he know you? No. Like,
no.
you know how people have like Facebook calls where they'll just delete people they don't talk to. I think
Yeah,
Ryback
yeah.
just does that on Twitter and just blocks people just for a laugh. I've never spoken to him. They've never said anything bad against me, but why
Right.
not? I'm in a funny mood today. Blocked.
Yeah, he and you know, not for nothing, go back and watch the clip of the night that Punk was throwing JR out of his ring and Ryback came out to defend him. That crowd lost its ever-loving mind. Now, part of that is due to Punk being such a great heel. Number 2, they loved Ross, but number 3, Ryback was over. And I was going to say through no fault of his own, but we don't know what happens behind the curtain. But maybe through no fault of his own, they didn't really know what to do after that with him. But then when he got released, things got real weird and he said a bunch of weird stuff. And you're like, oh, no, not him too. You know, it's almost, why can't people just be normal? Quit being weird.
Just be a good person.
Just
Come on.
is that so hard? Just, you know, don't mess with people,
He dropped Punk, didn't he? He threw Punk at a table and missed. And that was at the beginning of the end, I think, because Punk really had it in for him after that.
And yeah, that's
so.
Great point. And Ryback's comeback was, that didn't happen. I didn't say none of that stuff. And I'm like, come on. If his comeback would have been, hey, guilty. I was still learning. Granted, I screwed up. I'm not that guy anymore. I owe Punk a public apology. Punk, it's my fault, man. It's totally my fault. But it's almost like people don't use their head and use logic. They just get defensive and say, I didn't do it. I'm like, shut up. I don't get that.
It's just like you don't always have to double down. You can just every now and then just go, oh yeah, all right, that was my bad. You don't have to defend your position all the time to the point where it ruins your career.
Yeah.
CRP says Samoa Joe makes sense if they are going to do anything off their Hall of Fame inductions, like the Cesaro call. Also, that's a good call, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Hall of Fame, do you think there's a chance we see either Punk or Danielson appear on the show?
I do.
For
sure.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It would make sense.
Can you imagine the crowd reaction if CM Punk walks out at the end of that show to challenge for him?
Oh. He's made it known that he wants the AEW world title no matter who has it. But, I mean, anybody could come out. Danielson could come out. Oh!
He was quite vocal when we interviewed him a few weeks ago about wanting to face Danielson. So...
yeah,
there's that.
Well, when you asked him at the show, didn't he say hopefully sooner rather than later?
Yeah.
Those not his exact words when you went to Gresham.
Exact words. Sooner rather than later.
Too soon to put Gresham in the BCC? Do you think that would make sense, or are he and Danielson too similar?
I mean, I think if anything, you want to do BCC versus the Foundation in Ring of Honor.
Yes.
That works. Yeah.
That's a shout.
Like there was a cheeky little foundation. I don't think it was related, but there was a cheeky little Foundation reference from Thunder Rosa on Dynamite this week, which may have been nothing, but it may have been something.
There's a couple of people. Go. There's a couple of people I'd like to see join the Blackpool Combat Club, and mainly off the back of watching Bloodsport yesterday. One of them being Timothy Thatcher, because I forgot how good he is.
Yeah.
And the other one is Biff Busick. Both of them, put them in the Blackpool Combat Club. Just leave it at those. That's fine.
They fit. They fit. And Thatcher, I'm going to be honest with you. When I saw Thatcher in NXT, I thought, this is either going to work or he's going to be gone in no time. Because when I looked at him, I thought, I like him, but he's not their style. He's not it. Like, they didn't put a silly hat on him. They didn't make him do a dance. They didn't dress him up, give him stupid music. They left him alone, which is shocking. But also, if they're not giving him something to do, that feels like they don't. It's like, well, let's don't waste a gimmick on him. I don't think he can do it anyway. But I'm like, good for them. They didn't make him look stupid too much, right? But at the same time, I thought the clock's ticking because, again, he's not their style. So, especially not now, seeing where NXT 2.0 is.
Could have been worse. They could have kept him and called him Butch.
Man,
I know it's still Raw, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're all trying to have a nice time here, Troy. We're all trying to enjoy ourselves. We're talking about the wrestling we're excited about.
Troy bumming us out. The whole vibe of the show
sorry,
just
man.
went down.
I'll call a taxi. I'll
Man.
get my coat. Thanks, guys. Have a good
I'm
weekend.
telling you. Yeah, well, so I didn't put the date for Supercard. I don't know how I missed that. Is that Supercard is tomorrow or is it tonight?
Today.
Tonight.
Yeah.
Tonight.
It is. Yeah.
Wow,
And
tonight for you guys, like early morning for us, like 2, 3 a.m., 2 a.m., I
Right.
think.
See, notice how I've got the date and time, and I just completely forgot Ring of Honor there. So that's my bad. Impact Multiverse of Matches. Buy it if only for the name, because I'm here for the name. Ultimate X for the Impact X Division Championship. Vincent versus Chris Bay versus Rich Swann versus Blake Christian versus Jordan Grace and Trey Miguel. I'm not an intergender guy. If everyone else is, go with God, brother. It's just not for me. I hope everyone's safe, and I'm sure they'll put on a great match. It's just not my cup of tea. That's for you guys, cup of tea. Let me ask you a question, a really stereotypical, perhaps borderline offensive question. Do you guys drink the crap out of tea, or is that just over here we always hear, oh, British people tea? Is that an insulting question to ask?
I think it depends where in the country you are. I think the North, and I could be wrong, Ben, but I think the North is probably more fond of tea. Like, I've got a lot of friends from Yorkshire, and their go-to is always a cup of tea or a brew.
There are 2 rules in the North, which is if anyone comes around to your house to just pop in to say hello, or you go to anyone else's house, kettle goes straight on, cup of tea. And if anybody has any sort of bad news, cup of tea, kettle goes on. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So if you see the kettle go on, you're like, oh, crap, what happened?
Yeah.
Did someone die? What happened?
Who died? Why are we making tea? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's so odd. I feel the need to ask people questions when they're in other countries I've not been to. That's so freaking odd. It just comes out. I love Ted Lasso. Every time they offer him tea, like he spits it straight out. He's like, oh, that's horrible stuff. And they're like, oh, no, I love it. It's so good. Oh, no, it's horrible. It's awful. I can't drink it. So, all right, where was I?
So yeah, just done the Ultimate X match. Was the last one you?
Yes, thank you. The Champ Challenge. Boy, Becky didn't know she started back in the day, did she? Deonna Purrazzo defends her ROH Women's World Title or her AAA Reina de Rennes title, and I'm sure I butchered that. Fatal 4-way for the Impact Knockouts World Tag Team title. Savannah Evans and Knockouts World Champion Tasha Steelz versus Rosemary and Havoc versus Giselle Shaw and Lady Frost versus Madison Rayne and Tenille Dashwood. Savannah Evans, a homegrown talent here in the Carolinas. So very happy to see her hitting the next level. She's awesome. So good on her. The Bullet Club versus Impact. Jay White versus Chris Sabin, which I'm here for that. Tomohiro Ishii, that sounds familiar, versus Eddie Edwards. Again, I'm here for that. ROH World Tag Team Champions, the Briscoes, they're back again versus the Good Brothers. That should be a banger, pun intended. NWA versus Impact, Mickie James and Nick Aldis versus Chelsea Green and Impact Digital Media Champion Matt Cardona. Impact World Champion Moose and PCO versus Josh Alexander and Jonah. Holy God. And Alex Shelley versus Mike Bailey. Dude, that's a card, guys. Who wants to go first? And this looks like to be a fun show, man.
You go ahead, man.
There's 2 guys who are very close to my heart on this show, and that is both of the Motor City Machine Guns, and they both have what look to be incredible matches lined up.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you think, Troy?
It's another really stacked card. Like, for people that don't watch Impact, this is probably a good one to try and sink your teeth into, because not only are you seeing Impact talent, but you're seeing talent from other promotions, and it really gives you a flavor for what Impact have to offer, but also those working relationships that they have with other promotions. If there's anything that stands out, you mentioned Jay White, Chris Sabin, very excited for that. The Good Brothers against the Briscoe brothers. Like, I'll just watch the Briscoe brothers in anything. Them boys, that's going to be good. I'm always excited to watch Jonah wrestle. Although, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Moose and PCO.
Just give me Jonah v Moose. That's the match I really want. Just let
Jonah versus Moose is what I really want. Moose and PCO. I'll hold my comments on what I think of PCO. Yeah.
Is it that rough?
I wasn't too familiar with him up until I watched. There was a GCW show a few months ago.
Oh,
it was like the one at the Hammerstein Ballroom, like the multi-man ladder match, and everything he did just looked like rough and just, I don't know. Like it just to me comes across as a little bit unsafe. Like I'm sure he's probably had some really good matches, but I've only ever seen stuff where I just go, oh, that's a bit awkward. So for me, I'd rather see Jonah against Moose or Josh Alexander against Moose or anyone of that. But yeah, but as I say, a really good card. The X Division match, whilst you say like intergender stuff isn't really your thing, that's fair enough. Kind of each to their own. Like I'm not dead against this. X Division matches are always good. Like Ultimate X matches in particular are really good. And that's for me, like that's a really stacked field of people in there. Blake Christian, Mike Bailey, Rich Swann, Vincent, Trey Miguel, Jordan, just everyone in there, like on their own, are great to watch. And
crucially on that match, Jordan Grace is comfortably like the biggest person in that match as well. So
yeah,
she's just going to be launching. She's not going to be doing like the standard women in intergender match spot. She's going to be
she's
all over the place.
Going to be yeeting people all over the shop.
Dude, I'm with you about what you said about Impact. If you're not into the company, this is the card to get on. I watched their last pay-per-view, and I was thoroughly impressed by what I saw. And I haven't paid money to see Impact in years, if I'm being straight. But man, I was like, wow. We get our TV through Hulu, right? So like, we don't have what's the network? I always forget the Access TV.
Access, yeah.
Yeah, we don't have it on the as a offering, so I'm gonna have to. I've been told they put full shows on their YouTube channel, but I think it takes a bit for them to do that. So I'm probably going to get this show and check it out, though. However,
it always surprises me with Impact, and I can't remember if I was speaking to you last time I was on or someone else. It always surprises me of Impact, and whilst I don't kind of look or read into the ratings too much, it surprises me how low Impact does, given like the talent on the roster, like the last few pay-per-views over the last 6 months or so. Like they look fairly solid, like top to bottom. And I don't want to come in here and badmouth and say, WWE put this on and they put this on, this and that on. But the last 6 months or so, Impact for me have probably put on a more pleasing card. Like if you looked at that, if you're someone that follows Impact or knows of Impact, to look at that at face value, I'd sooner rather watch an Impact pay-per-view, certainly from the last 6, maybe more months, than maybe say something a WWE are putting out. So it does surprise me how Impact are kind of always coming in quite low, especially when you see stuff like this, where we know they've got that working relationship with the likes of AEW and the likes of New Japan.
CRP with a great point. Impact is going to impact, and lost a lot of fanfare over the years by impacting so hard. I don't know. You know what? You can look at that and say, I don't know what that means. But if you're a fan, you know what that means. Like if anybody hurts them, it's them. And I don't, surely they don't intend on hurting themselves, but Chris, without even asking you what you mean, I totally got everything you just said. 100%. But like you said, currently it's a good show. I'm 100% agreeing with that. And plus, Jim with another good point too, has more to do with Impact being on Access. They've never really been on a channel, to be fair, that could get them top level. I mean, God, if you're a network and you see what AEW is doing and the numbers they're pulling and the demos they're pulling, how have you not reached out to Impact and said, hey, we're going to roll the dice. You guys have been around how long and you haven't shut down? Come to us. It's hard to believe they can't pull a deal like that.
I mean, how much of that is like reputation based though? Because I know they had some issues back in the day where they lied to the network about bringing Vince Russo back, and that got them kicked off Spike TV. And is that still like hanging over the company? I mean, people still. You talk to like casual wrestling fans, they still think Dixie Carter owns Impact Wrestling. They still think Hulk Hogan was, that Hogan era was disastrous for them, and it still hangs over them to this day.
Yeah. Ray all day just kind of took a shot at their play-by-play. I disagree because they've
I
got.
disagree.
I
They've
think
got
Tom
What's his
Phillips.
name?
Yeah.
What's he now?
What's he
He's
going
gone
by
into
now?
Tom
Yeah.
Shuff. What's his name? No,
Something
Tom.
like that.
Tom something. But yeah, formerly known Tom Phillips on there.
I think he's
To be
killing it.
fair, their commentary team has always been fairly good. Like they had a few people on before Tom as well,
Yeah,
and always
yeah.
thought this is a decent commentary team. Didn't they bring in Mauro Ronaldo for like a hot moment on one pay-per-view?
I think so. God, I miss Morrow, dude.
Yeah, man. They had D'Lo Brown on there for a bit as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Like they've always had a fairly decent comment, or at least from the last maybe probably year or so that I've paid any real mind to them. They've not had a bad commentary team, and certainly
Yeah.
now with Tom Phillips on there, I think they're great. Really, really
Yeah,
good. Tom Phillips is a great commentator.
They
I
had
agree.
Taz back in the day, and like all the way back to like Don West was always good, and
Yeah.
Mike Tenay was always solid when he was doing his thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And somebody explained to me, did I miss the memo? Why are we all supposed to hate Matt Stryker? The guy is hyper intelligent on the business. I mean, Gordon Soley was hyper intelligent on the business in his best moments. And like no one, we love Gordon. But like Matt gets, did I miss something? Did he say something weird on Twitter at some point?
I don't know.
Did a switch flip because everyone loved him in Lucha Underground. He was.
I was going to say Lucha Underground. He was awesome.
Yes.
I don't know what happened in between.
I think in Impact, didn't he? Because he's married to either is or was married to Madison Rayne. I think they did commentary for a bit. And did that get weird? I'm not sure.
Maybe
I didn't watch it. So
Tom Hannafan is his name.
Tom Hannafan,
yes.
That's it.
Tom Hannafan is his real name. Phillips is his shoot name. Sorry, kayfabe name.
That's I mean, that Tom Clark guy here, he's pretty good.
I've heard he's all right. I've heard he's good, man.
I don't know. I do know he's a handsome devil. I'll say that for him.
Make the call anthem, pick him up.
Yes. I got a face made for radio, baby. I'm looking forward to this, man. My God, I'm gonna go broke this weekend. Someone let me hold $20, please, because my God, buying all this stuff, I'm gonna go broke quick. Yeah, dude. So there's your again, best name ever, multiverse of matches. If you don't like that, there's something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about 2.0, baby. NXT in the house. You guys couldn't wait. Nobody could wait. Look out. Dolph Ziggler versus Braun Breaker for the NXT Championship. We'll start with the main event. LA Knight versus Gunther. Imperium, Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel versus the Creed brothers, Brutus Creed and Julius Creed, with Malcolm Bivens versus MSK, Nash Carter, and Wes Lee. Triple threat for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Mandy Rose versus Cora Jade versus Io Shirai versus Kaylee Ray. Fatal four-way for NXT Women's Championship. Tommaso Ciampa. And attention, everyone on TV and on podcasts that don't know how to pronounce it, it's Ciampa. It's fine. Call him whatever you want. But straight out of the guy's mouth himself is Tommaso Ciampa.
Who's calling it something else?
People, dude, everyone calls him Ciampa all the time. And I'm like, it's Ciampa. Well,
Come on.
I know. Anyway.
Come on.
It's fine, whatever. But if you lived in Tom's head, you'd be going crazy because he's like, I can't help it. I is who I is. Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams versus Santos Escobar versus Solo and Sequoia. God, I don't want to mispronounce the guy's last name.
It's not true. I mean, he's as thick as a sequoia tree.
Well, that works. It shows you I'm not watching the product with versus Grayson Waller versus Cameron Grimes. Fatal five-way ladder match for the North American title. And Toxic Attraction, Gigi Dolan and JC Jane versus Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Tag team match for NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Freaking Ben, listen. This card sounds great. And I don't watch 2.0 anymore. So sell me on this and tell me why I need to watch this.
I mean, the last NXT match I watched was Karrion Kross 6-way. Was it a 6-way, 5-way?
Wow, that sounds familiar. I think I did too.
I watched one episode to help Aaron review it on our podcast, and why is it just a sex thing now? Like, everything's about making out, or it's like I was saying this to Troy the other day. It sounds like it's written now by like the guys who wrote like not like American Pie, the good film, but like the DVD ones, the straight to DVD like bad ones. And it's just like, oh well, we'll just make all these couples make out in the ring, and it's. I mean, if you want to see some hot wrestlers make out, then maybe you'll get that at Stand and Deliver. Who knows?
And that makes the title of the show that much more risque, right? Jim, I'm leaving your comment up for days. Nickelodeon NXT. That's freaking great. That's man.
I mean, if Bron Breakker beats Dolph and then Dolph gets gunked at the end, then that'd be perfect. I'd be up for that.
I don't, from a distance, I read reviews and I watch clips. And Troy, I don't. I mean, if it's, Vince remade this in his own image, okay. I don't understand. It seemed to be working fine before, but like, I don't know. Are you watching, Troy? Are you watching the product at all?
I am watching every single week and reviewing it with Aaron. And actually,
you're doing the Lord's work over there then.
I'm
Good luck
doing
to you.
I'll be honest, and I'm probably going to get a lot of backlash for this.
Uh-oh.
I'm more excited for Stand and Deliver than I am Mania.
Well,
there's more on for me, for someone that watches 2.0 every week, and it has its faults. And believe me, there are a lot of faults.
They are many.
I watch it every week, mainly because it's just amusing to watch. And when we review 2.0, it's more a fever dream, as you said earlier on, Ben, and it's more of a laugh. But actually, I'm invested in it. I watch it every week. There's more on there for me than there is on the Mania card this year. Everything on that card has its place. Every belt has been defended, which is more than I can say for Mania weekend.
Man,
I'm excited for it. Like there's a lot on there I'm looking forward to. If I had to pick out a couple of standout matches, the 5-way ladder match, North American title, the triple threat for the tag team titles. Like both of those are going to be really, really good. All three teams in the tag team triple threat, men's tag team triple threat, are superb. Imperium are a phenomenal tag team. The Creed brothers are. It's like having two Kurt Angles in a tag team. Like they're so good, and MSK are just exciting to watch. All three of them in a match is going to be amazing. Ladder matches are always fun. NXT ladder matches are always fun. Everyone in that match delivers. Like, just for me, like I think Stand and Deliver this year is a really decent card. I genuinely do.
Man, if you were making closing arguments, you may have just swayed the jury. That's not bad. That's pretty good. I'm telling you. I can't hate on you for any of that. If, like you said, if you're invested, yeah, dude, I'm all about it. There's some gems on here. I agree. I don't think I've ever seen Imperium have a bad match. I've seen them get booked in weird stuff, but they're so good together. There's top names on this card, man. I don't really see anything. I'm not a big Mandy Rose guy. I don't want to go down that road, but it's almost like, well, we've she just took the whole show over when she got there, and that's fine. But like, I don't know. There's been moments when they first brought her in and did all this stuff, and now she's got black hair, and there was a whole segment devoted to her hair, and I'm like, cool, what? So,
yeah, the thing, like with that women's like 4-way title picture, the weird thing is the reason that Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray are in there. So originally it was Mandy Rose and Cora Jade. That was meant to be the one-on-one. Io Shirai and Kaylee Ray won the Women's Dusty Cup. And instead of saying, right, okay, we've got a match to Stand and Deliver for the Women's Tag Team Championships, they said, no, we're going to cash that in and we're going to add ourselves into the Women's NXT title match. And it made it a 4-way. So with all of about a week's notice, they've randomly put back together Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, who not 6 months ago were stabbing each other in the back and hated each other, to put them back as a tag team to challenge for the Women's Championships. So as I said, as much as I like this card, NXT 2.0 isn't without its faults, and that is certainly one of them.
Yeah. And I mean, I like the fact that you can love something and also be a little critical of it, and it's
absolutely.
The world still spins, kids. It'll be okay. So, And by the way, if you don't like any take that Troy just gave, well,
You can kiss my grin.
I
You
knew
got that
you'd
before
enjoy
I
that.
did. Thank you.
I knew you'd enjoy that.
Yeah.
I had to throw that in there too. Man, once you get started I started that around the house one day, and within 10 minutes, my wife did it, which is hilarious to me, just out of the blue. So that was pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I may check it out. We'll see. Again, I already pay subscription to Hulu, or not Hulu, but Peacock. So yeah. I want to throw this up, everybody, for everyone to check out. Mission Pro Bangers, Pro Bangers only. We have to represent the women here, kids. We have to. This is Thunder Rosa's promotion. Let's see. Thunder Rosa versus Trish Adora. Janai Kai, and I hope I'm not butchering that, versus Tasha Steelz. Tasha Steelz, the second time we've said her name. Genocide and Colin King versus Maddie Rankowski and Roche Chanel, hopefully. La Rosa Negra versus Jody Threat. Allie Ketch versus JP Harlow. That's gonna be fun. Lindsay Show versus Masha Slamovich. I love that freaking name. I always will. The Renegade Twins, who we've seen on AEW Dark quite a bit. Charlotte and Robin Renegade versus Jasmine Allure versus the Hex, Allison Kay and Marty Bell, and Lainey Luck. And the Mission Pro Wrestling Championship match, Holly Dead versus Lufisto. Had to throw this out there, guys. Is anyone catching Mission Pro Wrestling at all? Because I can't say that I've watched the show. I'm not even sure where to catch it. I'm sure they're on YouTube, but how do we feel about this? Because, man, it's not only is it all pro women's pro wrestling show, it's down to the ring announcers, the cameramen, everybody. It's all female. I just love this idea. Ben, what do you know about this, man?
Right. So I don't know how it falls in the US, but this is part of the collective for GCW, so it's in the whole package.
Nice.
So it's part. I know. So Aaron, are we watching this? It's on Fight in the UK.
Nice.
I'm guessing maybe in the US as well. Do you guys get Fight over there? Like, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. It should probably be on Fight then.
Cool.
I mean, there's some great names on this show, isn't there? Well, first of all, another thing I love about Mission Pro shows is they always seem to happen at taco festivals, because that's Thunder Rosa's other big passion. And I'd love to go.
That makes sense.
I would love to go to a wrestling show that's at a taco festival. I would have a great time.
It'd be great, man.
But yeah, man, like Lufisto, obviously Thunder Rosa's wrestling. The Hex are awesome.
Yeah.
Janai Kai is great. Masha Slamovich is. I mean, this is if you know women's wrestling, this card is jacked.
It is. It really is. Troy, this is. I was going to say the future. This is the present. I mean, I hope this is not the first and only company we see that's all women from top to bottom. I mean, I love this idea, man. I mean, hopefully they have a great night, a great show, and hopefully everyone gets a really nice payoff, because we want everybody to get paid.
Absolutely.
So, what do you think about this show, man?
I'm not too familiar with Mission Pro. As you mentioned, I know it's Thunder Rosa's promo. I know one or two names on there. I know Holly Dead. She was a Progress show over here only last week. Two Progress shows, in fact. She was on one that they did called Everything Patterned, which is very much like GCW's For the Culture show, where it celebrates like ethnic diversities and cultures. So Everything Patterned was very much the same thing, but Progress's own kind of thing. So I'm familiar with her from that, and she's very, very good. There's a couple of other names I recognize in there. Did you say Ali Catch was on there?
Ali Catch is on there.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I recognize Ali Catch. Of course, Thunder Rosa. But yeah, it's awesome to see an all women's promotion, but not just all women's wrestlers, but as you say, production staff, camera, commentary, all of that. Really, really cool. I think we've got something similar over here. Is it Pro Wrestling Eve, Ben? If you might correct me on that, but isn't Pro Wrestling
That sounds
Eve
familiar.
Yeah,
like an all women's promotion with a kind of fairly similar setup?
Yeah. But
yeah, it's cool. As you say, it's part of the GCW collective this weekend. I think we all did. I did, at least, knocked our podcast co-host last year, Aaron, for dedicating his entire WrestleMania weekend to the GCW collective. But this year it seems like there's an awful lot more buzz around it, a lot more eyes on it, a lot more going on. And you only have to look at the kind of the diversity across the various events that they've got on You've got stuff like this Bangers Only card, the all women's one. You've got Effie's Big Gay Brunch. You've got
Right.
For the Collective. For the Culture. You've also got the world on Lucha, so like the kind of Mexican luchador thing. They're making big waves. It's really cool, and this is just another key example of such a diverse spread of wrestling. When arguably the majority of the eyes of the wrestling world are on WrestleMania this weekend, you've got stuff like this that smashes it out of the park. That for a lot of people is going under the radar. So if you get a chance, check it out because I'm sure it won't disappoint.
Cool. Timothy telling you to check out, I guess, Mission Pro. He said their headquarters is near Houston.
Okay. Will do. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Chris asked, brother, I don't have the info. I'm sure if you Google it, you can find out. It's on Fight TV, apparently, so that's how you can watch it. I don't know.
This weekend show, yeah. It's on Fight TV, like the Bangers Only. I don't know if they put out a weekly show or anything like that, but
if they do, it'd be streaming, I assume. So
yeah.
But yeah, I had to throw that out there. And kids, a lot of you have been waiting for the Big Daddy event. And let's be honest, folks, without the Big Daddy and all this stuff's probably not going to happen this weekend, not the same weekend anyway. Let's talk about it. WrestleMania 38, night one, part one of a 2-night event. Each event's 6.5 hours. So here we go. Saturday, April 2nd, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair singles match for WWE Raw Women's Championship. Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul in a tag team match. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss. I'm going to do that a lot. The Usos, Jay and Jimmy Uso versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Stop hating on Boogs. I'm sick of it, everybody.
Boogs!
I'm just saying. The New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland with Butch. Seth freaking Rollins versus... Yeah, wait on. Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. Singles match. The WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. There's night one, Ben. Oh, Ben. What's jumping out at you on this card? What is it you can't wait to see? Screw it. Hold on. Who's facing freaking Rollins? Go. Who you got?
It's surely if it's not Cody, then the world's going to explode, isn't it? Like,
yes.
And it's so weird because the last time I was on here with you, Tom, Cody had just left, and we were all talking about, and there was like, there's no way he's going to go, and now here we are, and he's maybe at WrestleMania.
I know. That's something.
Also, you did leave off the main event of night one, which is going to be Kevin Owens interviewing Stone Cold Steve Austin. The main event.
Well, no, you're right. 100%. Yeah. Which is probably going to lead to something on night two. Yeah.
There's only one real main event this weekend, and it's right here and now.
Oh, well, see, there you go.
Don't worry,
That's what I like.
Corporate shill for Tom Clark. That's right.
Oh, see, I'll take it all day long. For that, you get this.
Apparently the Cold Stone Kevin Owens thing is going to main event night one, which is on a night where you have two women's title matches. Seems incredibly disingenuous, but what are we going to do?
I agree.
Ben, sorry. Can I just pull you up a sec? Did you just call it the Cold Stone?
Stone Cold, sorry, not the beer. Cold Stone, ignore
that. The reason he's called it, for those that don't know, the reason he's called it Cold Stone is because he has a line of beers called Cold Stone Cream Austin. A line of IPAs.
Hey, before we take it home today, you're gonna push the heck out of your brand because I expect you to. And by the way, in the States we have Cold Stone Creamery, which is an ice cream joint. So I immediately started thinking about ice cream. So there you go. Yeah, that's fun stuff. I don't know, man. I mean, it's Troy, are we looking at Austin versus Owens for night two? Are they going to save that, or are they even going to do it? Because the rumor is they're going to do it. So what's happening?
I don't know. I'm so in the air about this Mania card. Like, I don't know where it's like honestly, that there is, it just sums up Mania this year for me. It's just like it's that. What was the original question?
Are they going to do Austin versus Owens?
Are they going to do Austin versus Owens?
Would they do
I mean,
without advertising it? Is that clever?
I mean, at this point, no. At this point, they are.
They are, yeah.
I
They
think
kind of
they
are
are.
advertising it, right? Yeah.
They are. They are.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of like little takes apparently from Austin in the last couple of weeks saying he's been getting into shape for this, that, and the other. They've been touting the hell out of it. It's going to be more than a kick to the stomach and a stunner, isn't it? He's not coming on there to just have a chat. It's going to be more than that. Whether I want to see it headline, I feel like if they're going to do anything, they'll have that be the headline. However, it will be interrupted by Seth, and then that will be the main event.
You think Cody gets the main event straight off the bat?
I mean, the way they've been going about it, like it's been the hottest talking point for the last couple of months, isn't it?
Do we believe these
rumors? He's all but confirmed.
Do we believe these rumors though? That there's a chance he might pull out. Like this has been like the late breaking news, hasn't it?
Yeah, in the last sort of 24 hours, apparently he might pull out.
Which
I just want it to be over. God in heaven, just.
I mean, I'm exhausted. I haven't even watched it yet.
Yeah, yeah, same.
Same. I know. It's mad. I really don't know.
Let me do this for you to help you out.
What?
Because nobody knows. That's the truth. I just make it be over. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, it's like going to the dentist, man. You're sitting there like, oh, just finish it. I don't know. Come on.
Is there anything that stands out to you on that first night? Is there anything on there that makes you go, yeah, okay, like I'm happy for that. I'll tune in for that.
I mean, Bianca could be good.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But if Bianca loses, no.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Bianca needs to win this.
Yeah.
And I think it's a direct comment if she doesn't. And I love Becky. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of Becky's heel work, although she's top notch at it. I was never a fan of the heel turn. And in my opinion, it took everything that made her hot and immediately cooled her down for me. Like the whole shtick was, I'm a rebel. You don't tell me what to do. I got here by my own hard work. They didn't want to push me, so I pushed myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the man because I say I am, and it worked. And then suddenly, I'm not those things anymore. What? Like, I don't know. I could have done without that. I think Becky in small doses with the leather jacket popping in whenever she wanted to would have been just as hot as she was before. But they went this other route. It is what it is. I love McIntyre, and I don't hate Corbin. I hate the gimmick. He's capable in the ring. I'm just not a fan of the personality and the gimmick. I'm just not. But I think McIntyre, I was going to say deserves better, but I don't want to diss Corbin. I think he should get better. He should get more, in my opinion. Look where the guy was just a year ago, and now this is happening. I'm like, what are we doing with freaking Drew McIntyre, man?
This feud's also been going for 4 months now.
Oh,
4 months.
And watch them on Monday. Monday, they'll have a WrestleMania rebound match or something.
Yeah. Thing is, everyone in this needs to be rid of it. Like, as you say, like you look at Drew McIntyre a year ago, arguably carrying the company through the pandemic era as the champion. Corbin, like, went through that little kind of transitional thing where he was like sad Corbin or whatever they called him, and thought, okay, there might be something here. Madcap Moss, like, I don't like to speak bad on anyone, but you look at the amount of people that have been offloaded over the last 2 years, and to me, I just go, how's he still there? His gimmick is a walking bachelor party, like, and that's it. Like, how's he still there? I also look at it and go, you've got a really thinning tag division. Corbin and Moss are clearly a tag team. They are clearly together. Put them in the tag team division properly. Bolster up your tag team division. Stop having them hotshot in one-on-one matches against Drew McIntyre, where you're literally fighting over Drew McIntyre's sword It's nonsense to me. And as I say, this has been going on 4 months. It's just nonsense. It really, really is.
Jumping Jeff Sharma. Wyndham Rotunda is in Dallas, or he's in Austin. He's put it on social media. He's there. He's there for WrestleCon. But, you know, he did a Q&A session. Of course, what he said, I'll answer 6 questions, I think it was. One fan flat out asked about Seth, and he goes, I love Seth. Seth's my boy. I'll always love him. But no, I'm not here for that. But I'm thinking, you wouldn't tell us if you were.
His opening thing was, I don't like to ruin surprises.
Sure, yeah.
Didn't he also say something like him and Seth want to at some point in their careers go back and like make do for that Hell in a Cell match?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, I don't, in my opinion, I love the idea of him going other places. I personally think he's headed right back to WWE when the time is right. I just think it's a fit for them in terms of the theatrics and the merch and all that. And for whatever went wrong the first time, may not happen wrong again. I don't know. I personally don't think he goes anywhere but WWE. Maybe I'm be wrong, man. Where do you think?
It definitely seems to be the best fit for him, doesn't it? Like,
I was going to ask you.
Yeah. You can't see him really finding a place for him in AEW because their product isn't really like that. It doesn't have that sort of same edge to it. And there's nowhere else. Why would you want to go to a smaller company than one of the big two? He should be in one of the big two, and yeah, WWE is probably the only one that's going to give him what he needs.
Let's see. Chris with a K, what's up, my friend? They just advertised a show for May 30th, and it shows Becky Lynch with the title against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley versus an RK Bro against Alpha Academy. Well, Chris, to be fair, they hype those things and they put that stuff out way ahead of time. And sometimes it has linked together to what they're going to do right now, but oftentimes it doesn't. I get what you're saying, though. It does look like that there's, what's going to happen this weekend, but I wouldn't read too awful much into it.
Card subject to change.
Very good. Very good.
I mean, that's often what they put, isn't it? Just to cover their own back.
I mean, see why.
Wyndham Rotunda is not joining Choose Your Own Adventure.
He's not joining Come in This Room and Talk to Me Like a Man.
Oh, come in here. I got big seasoning. Yeah.
You might get these hands.
You gonna get this narrative? No, not a chance.
I mean, I think Bray probably wants to wrestle in front of more than 50 people, if I'm being totally honest.
That's a good call, too. Don't even get me started on that. We covered that here recently, and it was... Yeah, I mean, again,
I listened in when you covered that. It was insightful.
Thank you. You put Austin Aries on your card. Not only do you book it, but you're proud of it and you advertise it. Yeah. WrestleMania Night 2, kids. If you thought Night 1 was good, look out. Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. It just goes on and on and on. A fatal 4-way tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn, an anything goes match. Pat McAfee, I'll stay on mic for his name because at least he's learning how to work, versus Austin Theory. RK Bro, Randy Orton and Riddle versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. Triple threat for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Edge and AJ singles match. Bobby Lashley and Omos. Brock Lesnar, WWE Champion versus Roman Reigns. Look out, kids. It's the big one. It's a winner-takes-all match to unify the WWE Championship and Universal Championship. All right, Troy. You're up to the plate first. You got 3 swings. Don't strike out. All right? I'm warning you. You got to bring this home. We're one run down. You got to – Ben's on base. He wants to come home. You got to make this happen. All right? So tell me why Night 2 is the straw that stirs the drink for you, man. Why is this going to kill it? Hit me with it.
Night 2 is the better night. It is. It's more stacked. I'd watch Night 2. Like if they said Mania is only one night this year and that wasn't what they presented, I'd be fine with it. I'm not saying it's an amazing card, but for me, it's better than Night 1. There's already 3 or 4 matches on there that I feel like I've got some interest in watching. Knoxville versus Sami Zayn is going to be absolute nonsense. The fact they've made it an anything goes match means that half the cast of Jackass are going to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm all right with that. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be nonsense. You've got Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, as you said, has already proven himself that he understands it. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Edge versus Styles, whatever promotion you watch, is a dream match and is arguably going to be a show stealer. And then Lesnar and Reigns, whilst it may have been done before, whilst it may be called lazy booking, whilst it may be predictable, it's still Lesnar versus Reigns. It's a winner-takes-all match. Even people that sit there and badmouth it, people that sit there and go, no, I don't like this. Oh, I think it's going to be this. I think it's going to be that. They'll watch it, and that's what they want. So, as I say, 3-4 matches on there out of what, 7? That's not bad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all right with night 2.
Ben, shoot Troy down and tell him why he's wrong, if you can. Do you disagree with anything?
I agree with a lot of things. I especially agree. I think Edge v Styles could be match of the night. I think it'll go 10 minutes too long. And I think I'll be begging for it to end by the time it does, but I think I'll enjoy it up to that point. The women's tag match will go so short that some women won't even tag in.
Yeah.
Like 8-woman tag match. I mean, it's for a company that seems to hate tag team wrestling. They don't know. Put a lot of pointless tag matches on the big shows, don't they?
No kidding.
Bobby Lashley versus Omos really angers me because you took the title off Bobby because he wasn't going to make Mania, and now you bring him back to either feed him to Omos or feed Omos to Bobby. So whoever wins, someone loses there. So that makes literally no sense.
Didn't they take Bobby off because he was injured? Wasn't he off to have?
But it was because he wasn't going to make Mania, and they needed a match for Mania.
Okay.
And now here he is, just getting thrown into a pointless match.
Yeah.
I am although as Troy said, this is probably the better night. I'm still baffled that they did both women's title matches on the first night and didn't spread
I don't get that. And I think Omos continues to have employment with that company. No disrespect to Omos, but I think he continues to have employment with that company because of one guy with 4 words. Just look at him.
Yeah,
I think that's it. I think if he were 6'1", he wouldn't be there anymore, in my opinion.
I'll steal from Aaron on this. At some point, the world's going to turn on Omos, and he's going to get left behind when they realize he can't do anything in the ring.
He can't do anything.
As Aaron said in his own words, as soon as they bring out the kiss cam, it's all over.
They'll do like they did with Brodus and with Albert and with so many. They'll put him on a funny hat, make him dance with the girls. That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
He'll be the gentle giant. Does this?
Give it 6 months. We'll have a Nigerian prison match, and it'll be exactly the same as a Punjabi prison match.
Right.
Honestly, if that's kind of the way it feels like it's going.
And what's funny, if there's a funny thing here, is for all we know, he's sweating in a gym right now, or he's sweating in the ring right now, and it could be that he's physically putting the work in, but we may never know that because they want him to do one thing, and that's SWAT dudes out the air and I don't know. For all we know, I'm not talking about mat wrestling, but I'm talking about for all we know, he's capable of putting on a fairly good match. But all those years that John was working and he was criticized for the 5 moves and stuff, and then I guess they started listening because all of a sudden he started having really, really good matches, and everyone's like, "What's this? Where's this come from?" And I'm like, he could probably always do it, but they didn't want him doing that. So I'll defend Omos to that point. Not that he's anywhere close to John at John's peak, but like it makes me question, like, can he do more and they just don't want him to? Or is he just going to, like you said, get left behind? I mean, I don't know.
You talked before about like WWE, you want you to do this when you can do this. And like, is this another, I mean, like you say, he's not Rey Mysterio and he never will be. But
right.
Yeah, he could be a perfectly serviceable big man. We don't know. Always, like you say, we've seen him do 3 different things in a match and that's it really, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. Jim, I think, just won the no prize for the day because when I put this up, you're both going to go, "Oh, God." Are you ready? I mean, I could see Wyndham doing something with the house. Oh, come on. You're going to shoot that down. Troy, you're breaking my heart.
No. I'm not shooting it down. But what I mean is like doing something with it. Like what? Forming his own faction to go against him or coming into it. Because if he comes into it, he leads it. And if he doesn't, and he's got his own faction, like
Mhm.
it's him on his own because there's no one else there to partner with him.
How about he
It'd be cool,
comes
I'd
in
like
and
to see it, but
how about he comes in and fights Malachi for who runs the whole thing to begin with? Like there's a two alpha male kind of thing happening. You know what I mean?
they could. But like for me personally, like Malachi is a star on his own and shouldn't be playing second fiddle to anyone. Like
Ben-
Malachi either leads the House of Black, or he's a singles guy on his own away from any other faction.
I'm like the biggest Malachi Black fan in the world, and I'm gonna say something now that people might get a little bit upset by, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I don't think you can put Wyndham near the House of Black because he is not 1/5 of the wrestler that either of those three guys are.
Well, you both took a massive crap on the my
apologies. That's the only negative thing I'm going to say all episode. I promise you.
Jim, I fangirled over your comment, and these two men shot me straight down in flames. So, I guess for me, I was looking from the purely an aesthetic point of view, like Wyndham coming in with whatever he wanted to wear and having that dark mystique with House of Black or against them, and I'm thinking, oh man, maybe I was just looking at it from a visual standpoint. But honestly, Ben, I can't disagree with anything you just said because I can't disagree. You know what I mean? So, that's a tough one. And again, dude, I hate to keep going back to this point. Is that the case, or have we seen the best that he can do? Have we seen it, or is it always been so character driven that he's not been given opportunity to say, just go have a good wrestling match? Maybe we have seen the best. Maybe you're right. I don't know, but I question sometimes knowing the way that company operates over there. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
They want to tell stories in the ring, and that's where he excels. Like his match with Cena at Mania, his match with The Undertaker, the Firefly Funhouse match is one of my favorite WrestleMania moments of all time.
His whole thing with Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan at the time was superb. Their match at the Rumble that year was awesome.
He adds more value in WWE than he will to any other company because of how they portray wrestling in the ring.
Yeah,
I think.
At this point, I wouldn't be disappointed if he just went, not doing wrestling again. I'm going into film. I'm producing. I'm writing.
Yeah.
Because someone with that creative mind, like, if he's not going to be given the platform he deserves in someone like WWE, and as you say, if that realistically is the only place that he could flourish, but they're not going to give it him, I don't want to see him anywhere else. I'd rather see him writing films. I'd rather see him producing. I'd rather see that creative thing put over 2-3 hours into a movie.
And honestly, he there was a time when you had to have the movie studio backing you. You had to have $1 million. You had to have with YouTube, and you can shoot films on your phone. It doesn't matter anymore. To me, like, you need 20 grand. I'm sure he could probably do 20 grand into a project or more. I mean, these days you can do anything online and make it look professional. And dude, it gets 1 million hits or so, and suddenly the big studios do turn around and go, oh wait, what's this? Next thing you know, you got to deal with Netflix. I mean, it's not like he couldn't do something if he didn't want to do it. I mean,
absolutely.
Jim, poor Jim. Look at that. It was only a thought. It's all right, Jim.
It wasn't a personal thing. It wasn't like we weren't having a go. But no, I agree. You can take like a couple of grand and go and grab Nick Mondo like Mox did and make a trailer.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the whole world's talking about you, and it's a different game in it. So.
Thing is as you look to that point, like there's plenty of filmmakers about. There's plenty of independent filmmakers working on a real small budget that are extremely talented. All it takes is for someone to have a good idea, and you can do that. And all it needs is a bit of traction on, as you say, somewhere like YouTube for someone to just pick it up. Like that could happen. Easily done.
Yeah. CRP with a good one just now, wanting to see him in New Japan just because it's so different than anything there. Wyndham would work in New Japan because of the theatrics. They do go out for that theatrical stuff. They really do over there. However, if you're telling me that he's going one-on-one with Okada's too, I don't want to say Okada because that's obviously but Tana, too easy, right? I mean, in terms of, well, yeah, of course he's not going to, but like put him in there against anybody. I mean, Hiroki Goto. Is Wyndham going to deliver a 5-star match with or Shingo Takagi? I don't know the answer. Maybe he could, but it kind of feels like, as Ben pointed out earlier, is he a step behind that?
The thing is, a lot of Wyndham's stuff is like hinges on his promos and how he talks. I don't think that translates over to somewhere like Japan. The theatrics, the ring gear, the walk down to the ring, everything like that translates. They love that. But so much for me, when I remember back to anything that Bray Wyatt did, or the Fiend, well, I'll say the Fiend, he didn't say anything, but anything that Bray Wyatt did was mainly promo based.
Yeah.
That doesn't translate over into New Japan. So I don't know how that works.
But having said that, if Chris Jericho could go over at the time in his career that he did and put on great matches with guys, then surely Bray or Wyndham could do the same thing. You know, he's not more limited than Jericho was when he did his New Japan run.
Are you saying Jericho's terrible at promos?
No, but like Jericho wasn't doing 5-star work rate matches. He was doing weird face paints and violent beatdowns.
He had both of it though. Like he had the entrance, he already had the following before. Like Jericho's from the Attitude Era, like Jericho's WCW, WWF, WWE, and goes over there and was already a household name. Can cut a really good promo, has a decent look. Like for me, like Jericho is almost like a complete package, and you could put him in any promotion and he would succeed. And that's not a discredit to Bray or Wyndham Rotunda, but for me, like, take the theatrics away, take the outfit and stuff like that away from Wyndham Rotunda. You go to somewhere like Japan where they're not heavy on promos.
Yeah.
Where, you know, they're not solely based, but mainly based on what they can do in the ring. And someone like him, for me, like, flounders there a little bit. And I love Wyndham Rotunda. I love everything he's done before, but to go somewhere like New Japan, for me, that's not a great fit.
And Chris, I see your point, but I also see Troy's point as well. I mean, I think you hit it on the head. And I love that they're not a promo heavy company. I at times, in my opinion, it may be handcuffs the guys a little bit, but not to the degree they can't get over, because they just do all their business between the ropes, and they'll cut the promo after the match is over. But like, you know, that's where Bray would have to utilize where Wyndham would have to utilize social media to cut his promos and to talk about, you know, I'm hyping the match in Osaka tomorrow night or that kind of thing. I think it could be done, but to your point, it wouldn't be the same guy. And, you know, the only Undertaker we ever knew was not the undead mortician, the Gravedigger. We know Taker in many variations and iterations like Jericho. But to what you're saying, we only really know, and no one remembers the Nexus stuff, you know, or the original NXT. No one remembers that. I barely remember that.
Husky Harris.
What? Husky Harris? What, you mean the body of a tank and the engine of a Ferrari?
Yes.
How do you not remember that? That's what I live my life by.
That's a deep cut and an instant recall that I'm extremely impressed with. Well done. Double V, Victor Vasquez. I have not said hello to you, my friend. The Fiend will attack Roman Reigns after he wins for payback for when Roman came back. You know what? Do it. Do it. Why not? Have him cost Roman the title or whatever. I don't know. Or Roman wins, then the lights go out and they come back on. He's in the ring. Honestly, I think that would be an amazing spot for him, to be honest. Chris, I'm going to acknowledge what you said, my friend. Matt Bloom would be a good example of it working.
That right there.
They're still talking about him over there. That's a good point. Good point.
That's a very, very good point.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, that's why what we try to do on the show here, kids, in case you don't know. We don't just stick with one thing and tell everybody else they're wrong. We try to listen to all sides. So,
as long as he doesn't come back as Tensai again, it's okay.
Oh, yeah. Lord Tensai.
Lord Tensai.
Okay.
Lord Tensai.
All right, what if Wyndham goes over there as Tensai? There you go.
But is it Lord Tensai, Ben, or just Tensai?
I think he's got to earn the lordship. I think he's got to earn.
Oh, I see.
Doesn't just strut in as Lord Wyndham. It's got to earn that.
That's nice, Lord Wyndham. That's now I want to see it really bad.
Do it, cowards.
That's great. I've seen people in the chat bagging on Austin Theory. Knock it off. Okay. Austin Theory is another homegrown talent here in the Carolinas. Came up in Evolve Wrestling. Please don't knock
Carolina
Austin
boy?
Theory. He's getting it. Yeah, he's getting. Well, I don't know if he's from. I know that he came up or in this area. Put it that way,
Oh, okay.
dude. He's yeah. Everyone get off Austin Theory, man. I think
I've got time for Theory. I've got time for Theory.
Absolutely. He's from he's built from McDonough, Georgia, but yeah, he came up around about this area. So no, dude, come on. I mean, all right, so Austin, go out there and be the comical, egotistical heel. Done. I mean, he can do it. It's working. People are like, God, I hate that guy, but it works.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I've got no beef with Austin Theory. I think he's awesome. I think his time in the way with Gargano and everyone else was really, really good. I think even before that, it was great. And then they had that weird experiment where they brought him into like Seth Rollins' little kind of faction, and then he quickly disappeared. But I've got time for him.
With Gargano was the best. I
Chef's
freaking
kiss.
Loved it. Yes.
Chef's kiss.
Was he the one who got abducted by Dexter Lumis?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, that was fun. I remember that.
It was fun.
Oh man.
Played it perfectly.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, kids, that's not all of the 400 shows we have this weekend. It's just a few of them, but that's what we got. Before we get out of here, because we've been on here since like 10 a.m. this morning, let's open this floor up. If you good folks out there, and I'm telling you that Ray has been waiting an hour and a half for this, and you know he's got his thing already teed up. He's going to hit me with it. Ben, he'll probably hit you too. He'll ask you who your favorite R&B or hip hop group is, and then if Adam Cole goes to a picnic and has watermelon or something, if you can have some or whatever. Oh, look!
There we go, straight away. He loves to throw in those singers, doesn't he? Loves
Pete Rock and CL Smooth or De La Soul and Cypress Hill or Naughty by Nature and DMX or Biggie. And if Adam Cole came to your house with a pizza and there was extra, could I have a slice? And after the pizza, I had tickets to see Shaka Khan and had one extra ticket. Could I come as well? This is for all of you. My God. This disappeared.
This is like reviewing an episode of NXT 2.0. That's a fever dream of a question.
My God. I'm going to leave it up so everybody doesn't forget what's on here. All right, Troy. Who you got here, dude? Hit me.
So wait, it's just like Pete Rock and CL Smooth is one choice.
Pete Rock and CL Smooth are synonymous.
I mean, it's.
I'm a huge Cypress Hill fan. I saw them at Brixton Academy here in London a couple of years ago. Like I've been a Cypress Hill fan since like 95, 96. My mum used to listen to Cypress Hill, and she used to work in a kitchen with a chef, and he used to give her mixtapes of Cypress Hill. I was introduced to them at like the age of about 7 or 8. I've always loved Cypress Hill. However, Pete Rock is hands down one of the best producers going. CL Smooth is one of the best lyricists going. And that's not to take away from De La Soul, Naughty by Nature, DMX, Biggie, or anyone. For me, in that, it's Pete Rock and CL Smooth. That's the first part of the question. I'll let Ben chime in on that.
I mean, yeah, I can't see past De La Soul and Cypress Hill. Like, that's a lot of my old school hip hop, like love right there. Yeah, so I'm going with them. I mean, it's interesting that Biggie's by himself. I mean, Biggie is good enough to carry the weight for two men, but nah, De La Soul, Cypress Hill, yeah, absolutely.
Top Hoss, Biggie, not Biggie.
I assume we'll share the pizza and the tickets to the Shaka Khan concert. I mean, of course.
Oh no, there's never. No, this is the misconception. There's never extra pizza.
No.
I see.
No, never.
You can come to the Shaka Khan concert, but there's no spare pizza going.
There's no pizza.
Ray, I apologize about the pizza, my friend. You're out of luck.
Man, you have to bring your own.
So if you're talking to me about Pete Rock and CL Smooth, I mean, you got to talk about the creator. And if you're talking about De La Soul, you got to talk about Three's a Magic Number. If you got to talk about Cypress Hill, you got to talk about obviously Insane the Membrane. Naughty by Nature, OPP, dude. I don't know. You tell me if I got to let all these guys go except one. I don't know if I can let X go, man. I love DMX, so I don't know if I can do it. God, that's tough. I'm going to go with DMX here, Ray. And you know what, brother? I try not to eat too bad if I can help it. You can have some pizza, right? I'll hook you up, man. Pizza and the Shaka Khan ticket is yours. Ain't nobody.
I'd like to clarify that the pizza's coming from Tom's Pizza, not from ours.
Yeah,
Love me
we've eaten it. We
pizza.
finished ours. Swerve used to come out to Shaka Khan, man. He's relinquished that.
I'm just
Gutted.
saying.
Booing.
I'm just saying. We have not said a word about the Hall of Fame, and I'm to fault for that one. He's asking about this thoughts on this year's Hall of Fame. We don't have to cover them, but like, Ben, what do you think about this year's Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean Taker's a big get. Like the Steiners. I mean, Scott Steiner with a microphone is going to be entertainment. So,
yeah, let's have that finger on the delay button. Let's get ready to hit that
maybe
button.
we'll put a 10-second delay on that one just to be on the safe side.
30-second delay. Are you kidding? That's oof. What do you think, Troy?
Taker, obviously a deserved entrant. Who else you got? Taker, you got Vader, you've got the Steiners, Shad Gaspard, rest in peace, like going in for the Warrior Award. Just rename it the Shad Award. Come on, do it. And then for reasons, you've got like Queen Shamel. Cool. Okay.
It's a choice.
It's okay. Sweet. Yeah, brilliant.
Did she ever actually work a match in that company?
Not that I recall.
She worked a match in TNA.
Well, I mean, there you go.
I try not to think about, but
you could have just left it there. You had us. You had us. She's late to the party, kids, but everyone say hello to Alora.
Hey, Alora.
You just got hayed by two dudes in England. I mean, what? Come on, man. Come on, shut up. That's really good, right? Sorry, Troy. Back to you.
No problem at all, man. Whilst 95% of them for me, like, deservedly go in, like Vader. Vader should have gone in before he passed away. Steiners arguably should have gone in a while ago. Shad should have gone in like the year he passed.
Thank you.
Taker for me, like, I know there was a lot of talk before where it was just like, well, when you put Taker in, does Taker go in by himself? Or does he go in with other people? For me, whilst everyone deserves their place, I'd have kind of liked to seen Taker go in on his own.
Yeah.
And had, say, 3-4 people come in and induct him. Each of those people does like a 10-15 minute speech about him. Yeah. They have a few highlight packages and stuff like that. Like, I think, like, whether you're a fan of The Undertaker or not, and I have friends that have never been fans of The Undertaker, Aaron, that have never been a fan of The Undertaker.
Oh,
but you can't deny the impact that he has had on not just but just generally. Like, I work with people that don't watch wrestling, and you can say to them, I watch wrestling. Oh, you're The Undertaker. Oh, okay, so you don't watch wrestling, but you know who The Undertaker is. Like, he's a household name. For me, like, he's up there with like Hulk Hogan. Like, he's like a Mount Rushmore, like, face on there. So for me, if you're going to put him in the Hall of Fame, also given the fact that he didn't get a proper send-off because it was during COVID and there was no one there to have that final send-off, like, you put him in on his own for me. So, and it's a shame because you could arguably put Vader in like at the top of that Hall of Fame list and he's playing second fiddle to Taker. I'd have rather seen Taker going on his own and then Vader maybe go in like, and get a bit more of a kind of like stance within that Hall of Fame another year.
And not for nothing, kids, but when Vader was alive and ill, there was a full court press, I think, by his family and his friends to maybe get him in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not make it happen. Shame on them. It's one graphic that you run on your shows and then an invitation to him. And if he couldn't make it, to his family to get there. That's all you had to do. You could have wished him well and provide a really nice moment for his family, but you didn't do any of that. I have a real problem with that, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I've not let it go since it happened. Honestly, I don't get it. It's almost like why do we continue to do weird stuff from that company or hear weird stuff from that company? A thinks that Albert should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, listen, guys, it's one guy's Hall of Fame. That's why I don't get upset anymore. There was moments over the years I'm like, this guy, but come on, it's one guy doing it's his Hall of Fame. Let him put it in whoever he wants to. And we could all sit back and go, what? But I don't get upset over that. Now, if it was a legit sports Hall of Fame and there was 30 sports writers who were casting votes and like a tiebreaker or something, then maybe I could say, well, these writers have lost their minds, but this is one guy. I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know how people get upset over this.
How about in a few years' time? How about we have an NXT Hall of Fame? Because
Ooh.
I could already like name 10 people now who you could put in the Hall of Fame for NXT. And when you look at the amount of people that are on main roster now that are products of the NXT system, let alone former NXT champions, like are a product of that NXT system. Why not have like that? Like but I think because it will never happen. And as you say, like there's one person there that is in charge of that. There's one person there that knows what he wants and what he doesn't want. But you talk about people like Albert, and you get, well, they're from like near enough the inception of NXT, and arguably wouldn't be in the place it is now without people like him.
Good point, actually. And a lot of the former NXT guys are now in AEW, which is, I think, is something that would stop WWE from ever doing that, because they would never. No, I shouldn't say never. They've done deals before with like Impact and stuff, but yeah, I mean, there's just such a, no matter what Triple H said, all due respect to Triple H a couple of years ago, there is no effort by that company to do business with anybody. That was all lip service. It was all lip service. And maybe Hunter meant it, but no one above him agreed, because they're all like, wait, what did he say? Ah, crap. They all got mad at him. But like, yeah, I mean, it's a shame it's like that. And I guess they don't have to play nice with anybody, but wouldn't it be awesome if they could?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's no need not to. They're never not going to be the biggest wrestling company in the world. They've got nothing to fear. Like, they're not right. They're not protecting anything.
Right. Yeah, and what I mean, you think your market share is going to get stolen? Come on, guys. You know what I mean? Let's be real here.
It doesn't hurt anyone by promote, like having people from other shows. You only have to look at, like, while it may have been short-lived, like the benefit that it had for companies like Impact when AEW had that working relationship, or they still do, but like, whilst there was clearly that big thing, Kenny on there in a match with Moose and the rest of the guys, like with all of the belts, it doesn't do anyone a disservice. It doesn't minimize anything. Like WWE, I know you probably quote me on this in 10, 15 years time, but WWE are always going to be the biggest circus in town. And they know that. But that doesn't mean that they don't have to recognize there's other companies there. That doesn't mean they can't play ball with other companies, because it benefits everyone. And as I say, to my original point, you look at the working relationship AEW have with Impact and New Japan and Ring of Honor, puts a spotlight on those. There may be people that don't necessarily watch this, that, and the other promotion, but you do a little cross-promotion thing, you have one or two guys or gals appear on there, it gets eyes on it. Like, everyone benefits from that. No one loses in that. Everyone benefits. Right. And I don't understand this mentality of like, well, we're the biggest circus in town and we don't have to play ball with anyone else. No, you don't have to. But it benefits everyone else. It benefits you. It benefits the industry as a whole. And if the industry as a whole is thriving, then you thrive as part of that. No one loses, really.
And Timothy Richards just pointed out Mickie James was in the Rumble. In my opinion, guys, there's a lot more to Mickie James being in the Rumble than just them having a phone call with somebody in Impact. I think a lot of that was somebody behind the scenes going, oh, crap, we need to make good on this thing for Mickie, man. We dropped the ball, and good on her for going public. She should have went public with what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, it's like, it's one thing, a cardboard box of your belongings. I don't think anyone would have even batted an eye at that. A cardboard box with her name written on top. Cool. A trash bag. You know what I mean? No one in that company thought it maybe looked weird. Not one person thought it looked weird. Like, come on. That's a big company, dude. You know what I mean?
We're all grown ups here. You understand what that means.
I mean,
Yes.
something like that must have passed between about 3 or 4 people, and like no one
Exactly.
thought, how is this going to be perceived? Like when this goes out,
Yeah. And nobody thought of it.
like it would have had to have been packed by someone, taken by someone, filed by someone, posted by someone. Like one of those people could have gone, "Hang on, this is maybe not the way we do this."
Right. Yeah. But you know, the bigger the company, the more chances of stuff like that happening, right? Because a lot of times people don't know what each other they don't know what each other are doing. It's not a close knit organization. People don't talk to each other. It's all about scheduling meetings and having conference calls. But it just slipped through the cracks. Someone probably said, "Get her stuff to her. Be sure you don't forget to get her stuff to her." And someone said, "Okay," and shoved it in a bag and didn't. What? Oh, well, kids, we've been talking all day. Before we get out of here, kids, first of all, we hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for watching. Ben, I'm going to throw it back to you first, man. Tell the people out here about your business, because we have people watching all over the world. Tell the people about your business, where they can find it, and everything that goes along with it, dude.
Cool. Real quick. So I am one of the owners and the head brewer of a company called Top Rope Brewing. We're based in Liverpool in the UK. We make wrestling-themed beers. Troy was meant to be coming to the brewery. We're actually showing WrestleMania at the brewery this weekend until stupid o'clock in the morning. Troy was supposed to be coming down until he got the COVID. So we sent him a little care package. He paid for it. Like we just posted it out every page. We got the money first.
Yeah, you got the money.
We're gonna make it clear he paid for it, guys, because we're
Paid for it.
Troy's got a couple of beers. He's been working his way through there, so that'll hopefully keep his spirits high over the weekend. So check us out at topropebrewing.com. We can't ship to the US sadly because of alcohol laws. It's a nightmare. But most of mainland Europe we can do if we really need to, and obviously the UK if anyone over there would like some beer. And yeah, topropebrewing.com. All the social medias, Top Rope Brewing, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of that. Have a little look. Even if you can't order the beer, have a look at that. We try and do funny names. Just have a little giggle at the names. That'll make my day. So,
can you ship merch over there?
We can ship merch if you want. We've got a new merch drop coming soon. T-shirts. We've got some other things I'm not allowed to talk about. So if you do fancy some Top Rope T-shirts, keep it on the website. Yeah, we can send all that. No problem whatsoever.
Yeah, and if you can't, like you say, if you can't buy the product, just follow the brands and represent it. Yeah, and if you share it on your social media, you might be sharing it with somebody that can buy the product or is able to. Yeah. So that's cool.
Oh, just say you think the names are funny and you like them. That's enough for us.
I'm intrigued. I got to look it up now for sure. Troy, one more time, hit us with the details on the Untitled Wrestling Podcast.
So you can find the Untitled Wrestling Podcast on all the social media outlets: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast. If you follow us on YouTube, you can do free watch-alongs. They're the best free to watch-along wrestling matches on YouTube. You don't even have to have the video open on another page. The videos come up. It's got the match. It's got us on the side. It's got our reactions. You can watch along with us. It's a really cool series we started doing. I think at the moment there's about 10, 11 up there. And the matches from all over the world, various promotions. So you can find out on our YouTube at Untitled Wrestling Podcast. And we're also on Twitter, Twitch, and Discord at Untitled Rest Pod. We have a really good Discord community, whether it's gamers, musicians, food and drink lovers, film and TV, comic books, or wrestling. We chat along with all the pay-per-views, the live watch-alongs and stuff like that. So, yeah, join us and come and get involved.
Awesome. I can vouch for the show. I can't vouch for the beer, but I can vouch for the show. But I can tell you the beer sounds fun. The brand sounds fun. So, yeah, for God's sake, kids, go follow these guys. And everybody, please thank them for being on the show today. I got to get on the show. I got to get on the show with you guys, man, for sure.
We will.
So,
we'll work something out, like maybe like whenever we haven't done it for a while, but we did like an open mic session where it was basically the equivalent of your open floor, and it was just talk about anything, everything, and anything. So maybe one of those, or we may be able to like hone in on something quite specific. But we absolutely will get you on soon.
Would we trust Aaron to take Tom through a match watch along? I don't know if I'd like to.
Oh yeah.
Tom's a respectable gentleman. I wouldn't know what I mean with Aaron.
You've not met Aaron yet, but I mean
no.
It's like a baptism by fire.
I'm more than intrigued. I'm very curious. That's good. Yeah, man, we'll have to set up a 6M as well. I'll take a turn. Tom Clark's Main Event you're watching right now has been going since 2014. This is episode 267. Man, we're just churning right along here, kids. It's good stuff. 267. There it is on the ticker. You can see it. Tom Clark's 6M podcast. We just dropped episode 85, I think it is. And we're churning right along on that. Troy's been on the show. We'll have to have Ben on here eventually as well. It's all a geek culture / pop culture podcast. We talk about a little bit of everything. So this last week's episode was on Band on the Run, the classic Paul McCartney and Wings album. So we do movies, music, Marvel, magazines, miniseries, and more. It's up here. It's rehearsed. I'll never forget it. So, yeah, go check out the shows. Troy and Ben, thank you so much again for joining me, dude. I'm going to take you off screen for a second, but don't go anywhere. But, guys, I appreciate you hanging out.
Oh, no, thanks for having us. And thank you, everyone in the chat, for the questions as well. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. There you
Enjoy
go,
your
kids.
weekend, guys.
You too, man. Troy and Ben from the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. We're going to get out of here, kids. Everyone enjoy your weekend. Get some sleep if you can in between shows. Get your rest because, man, it's going to be a long freaking weekend. But we appreciate you guys and gals watching us and following along and playing along. Thanks for the questions, as the guys said. We're going to be back next Friday. If anything ever changes, I try to keep you kids tuned in and are updated, I guess you could say. I am starting a new job on May 1st. It's a remote position. It's going to be great. I'm so much looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of hard work, rolling the sleeves up and getting things done. But I'm here for the challenge. I ain't dead yet, okay? And as long as I ain't dead yet, there's stuff to do. I'm going to stay busy till the end. What a terrible way to end the show. It got real dark and somber there, didn't it? I came in like a bolt of lightning, like a freaking wildfire, and I go out with dark and darkness and Wyndham Rotunda and House of Black stuff. Man. Anyway, enjoy your weekend, kids. Don't let it get too dark for you. The sun will come up tomorrow. I'm not going to sing. Thanks again, everybody, for hanging out with us, all right? That's it for us, kid. Thanks so much for hanging out. We'll see you next time. Tom Clark's Main Event.